Hi, I'm Joseph Giunta, the music director and conductor of the Des Moines Symphony and Academy, and I'm here today to speak to you about our Masterwork 6 program. We're calling it Simon Sings Porgy Bess. We'll begin the program with Shostakovich's fabulous Festive Overture. What a great way to start a program. This work is full of brass fanfares and exuberance, and it really shows the lifeblood of Russian people. Joy is evident throughout the entire piece. We'll next welcome the great bass baritone Simon Estes. He's been a friend of mine for well over 3 decades, and I admire and respect Simon in just about everything that he does. He's one of the great basses of all time in the opera world, and we've done probably more than 30 concerts together over the last 30 years. Simon's going to be singing an aria from SimonBoccanegra. Now, this is an opera in 3 acts by Giuseppe Verdi, and the aria was the very first aria that Simon Estes learned, memorized, the first aria in Italian that he knew, and he studied it with Charles Kellis, who at the ripe old age of 95 is still teaching. Simon himself went on to sing this role and many, many others virtually in every opera house throughout the world. Next we have Janice Chandler-Ettima singing the beautiful aria by Carlisle Floyd called Ain't It a Pretty Night from his opera Susanna. This opera, by the way, is the second most performed American opera around the world, second to only George Gershwin's Porgy Bess. In our year-long celebration of the music of Leonard Bernstein, I've decided to program the 1965 Chichester Psalms. Now, Bernstein was music director of the New York Philharmonic between 1958 and 1968, but he took a sabbatical around 1965 actually just to compose. And his objective during that period of time was to write another Broadway musical. But in 1963, he received this letter from a Reverend Walter Hussey, who was the dean of the Cathedral of Chichester in Sussex, England, requesting a piece for the 1965 festival. He wanted the piece to be for chorus and orchestra. And Bernstein responded with a suite of songs that's quite hopeful and life-affirming. The piece is sung in Hebrew and uses the natural contours of that great language to dictate sort of a flowing mood and melody and character. Bernstein was issuing a plea for peace in Israel during a turbulent time in that country's very young history. After studying this piece for almost 4 decades, I believe the magic that Leonard Bernstein, my teacher and mentor, made was that he blended these beautiful Hebrew verses and the Christian choral tradition that's implied his desire for both brotherhood and eternal peace. This piece shows Bernstein's spirit and his faith in humanity, innocence, and youth. And this piece is also rousing, joyful, melodic, contentious, humble, and urgent. To sing this, the wonderful Nordic choir from Luther College under the direction of Dr. Andrew Last. This is one of the great gems of the Midwest, and they have an international reputation singing all over the world, and I always look forward to working with them. Our final piece on the program are excerpts from Porgy and Bess. It was first premiered in Boston in 1935 before it moved to Broadway, and it featured an all African-American cast. It did go on to become the most popular American opera ever. Now, Robert Russell Bennett was an American composer and arranger, and he did many orchestrations of Broadway shows. And in 1956, Robert Russell Bennett was asked to produce a concert version of this piece. It lasts about 30 or 40 minutes. It's a very effective and appealing way to hear the great moments of this opera, and we look forward to doing it both with Simon Estes and with Janice Chandler-Ettima. I think you'll really enjoy this program. It's full of some wonderful music, some unusual music, and some very familiar music, and I look forward to conducting it April 27th and 28th in the Civic Center of Greater Des Moines.